Okay, one of the first things I want to show you is if you go back into your render setup, we have our production render mode changed to Arnold, but under target, if you change that to your active shade mode, which controls what you see on screen, you can change that to Arnold as well, and it should make for a better image on the screen. Yeah, it's still not showing up under default settings, but flat color looks pretty good. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to change this back to my production mode. And I just rendered this out so we can see where we left off with lighting. That we like our lighting, it's good. We can make adjustments to it if we want, or you can make adjustments to yours if you want. I'm satisfied with this for now. So the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to put on the materials based on Lab 1. Okay, there is a lot we can do with this, and I'm not going to throw everything at you at once. We're going to just start with the basics, and then we'll build from there. Okay, so here's the frog, and I'm going to put that over there for now. Close this up. You can still kind of see him. Okay, so here is our model that we're going to work with, and what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go to my compact material editor, this over here, and select on my standard button Arnold, expand that out, surface, expand that out, and standard surface. And this is what we're going to use with just about everything. You can see there's some other shaders in here. For now, we're just going to start with the basics. So this is our main material. All right, and that's now appearing here. And I'm going to use this to simulate frog skin. So the first thing I want to do is, in 2018, this may look different than what you have for 2019 and 2020 because they have made changes to each iteration as they've gone along. So under basic parameters, the first one I have is coding, and I'm just going to scroll that up so it fades out for us here. Under basic parameters, I'm going to have a base color, right? So I have a scale, and that's all this is similar to the diffuse color that we have been using in 2400. This is your color, and this is your map that's associated with it. Right now, I didn't ask you to do maps. We will get into maps. Maps can get really complicated depending on how good you want them to be, but we'll talk about that as we go along. For now, you have a percent, amount, you have a color, and then you have a roughness, and this just controls your shine. All right. So for this frog, for my base color, I'm going to pick a nice froggy green. And the nice thing with the color selector is you can change it over here, you can select over here, you can work with it over here. I want a little bit more blue. I actually like more yellow greens, but that's not quite right. So you can just keep playing with it. I'm going to stop playing with it because I will sit here and play with it for 10 minutes and eat up all your time. Oh, but it drives me nuts when it's a little too yellow, a little too blue, and not dark enough. Okay, that works for me. It's kind of a Kermit kind of green. So I'm going to take this material, make sure I've selected my frog, and apply or assign the material to my selection. Now, I just want to let you know, for those of you guys who are using Boolean to attach objects, that there is another way to do this, and I'm going to address that in 2405 in our modeling class. Because you see right now when I attach this, the eyes, they're the shells of the eyes, eyelids, also went green because I actually did this as part of my model, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I've added, back to this, I've added the basic parameters, my base color, We can leave it there just to see how the default does, and I'll show you, we'll come back and adjust it. And then the roughness. Because the frog is not terribly shiny, I might want to adjust the roughness to get rid of some of the shine. Now, that's too much. It should be showing you. It should be showing you over here, but let's try that. Let's see how that does. Okay. We're going to talk about caustics later. And then the next thing we want to go to is transmission. Transmission is an area where it allows us to use multiple layers. There's a transmission of light inside skin. So transmission is where we're going to want to apply this. Now, I'm going to need to change this so that it shows up when it's at 0. Whenever your sliders are at 0, it's 0%, right? So the light will now scatter through the surface. This works glass, water, and skin. And I'm going to pick another green. I'm going to pick a little bit of a different shade of green so that they're not identical. And why I'm going to do that is because it gives a deeper feel to the skin surface. And you'll see here in a second what I'm talking about. Let's just try that for a starter. Okay, so this is now my transmission color, and I have to tell it how much to transmit and how deep to transmit. So I'm going to start off with 0.2, and my depth I'm going to start off with whoops, you can type in here. My keyboard's over here, so it's hard to type. 0.2. And you can add extra roughness, which will help get rid of some of the shine if you want to add more of that. I'm going to add just a little bit here. Okay. And then under scatter, I'm going to try one more. Ooh, that's maybe a little too crazy. Ooh, that's really shiny, but that might be kind of cool. You know what? I'm debating which way I want to go with this. Because I'm looking at my result over here. Oops, I'm sorry. I just realized y'all can't see that. I'm watching my screen. I'm looking at my result over here. Now, this could be really cool if you want a sparkly frog. But maybe not so much if you don't. All right. I'm going to go with a darker color. There we go. I like that, actually. Okay. So now I'm going to go and render him out. Make sure I'm on the... and see what kind of a frog I got. And it's... the computer's thinking about it. It actually looks pretty good. It's not quite as twinkly as it was over here. And it gives you a feel of skin. Now, I can go back and play with these parameters over here. Depth. Let's change that to 0.8. And change that to 0.8. And I'm just doing this from having worked with it before. You just want to play around with it. Like with anything, the more you experiment, the more you begin to understand your limitations. So I just, don't be afraid to go in there and play around with these numbers. I would recommend not playing around with anything that you don't know what it is yet, that we haven't really talked about. But everything else should be good. Change my scatter color to something lighter and a little bluer. Ooh, too blue. There we go. Okay, let me render him out again. Oh yeah. I like that. It has more of a skin feel to it now. And you can see this is infinitely better than the flat color that we were working with in 2400. Okay, and so just play around with that until you get what you like. And you can continue to do this for your other materials that are on your frog. I just had modeled the head in class when we were working on it last time, so just started with the head. And then you can just go from there. We'll get into more. There we go. Pretty cool. We'll get into more what all of these are. There's a lot here. You do have maps. I do want to show you guys this one last thing before this video ends up being half an hour long. Just wrap this up. Since we've covered what you need for Lab 1, you can attach maps here. See all this? Now, I don't know if I have it, but you guys might have a bump map in 2019. I know they updated a lot of these things. I don't believe I have it. Excuse me. Okay, so for now, that's where we are. Let's start with that, and then we'll build on it.